May 5th, 2025, 6 p.m. Meriwether County Board of Commissioners meeting. Please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices. I ask that you please stand as Ms. Morgan Cunningham will give the invocation, followed by the pledge to the flag.
Good evening. Thank y'all for allowing me the time to come and pray with y'all. If you'll bow your heads, let us pray together. Dear God, we come before you this evening with hearts full of gratitude for the opportunity to serve our neighbors and our community. We thank you for the uniqueness of our county and the strength of its people. Thank you for the calling you have placed on each elected official. Father, as we begin this meeting, we ask for your guidance and presence. May the decisions made here be just and fair. We ask that you bestow upon all in this room patience in discussion, clarity in vision, and unity in purpose. It is in Christ's holy name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is to adopt the agenda. Are there any modifications need to be made to the agenda?
No, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor? Next item is presentations. Presentations, each candidate will be given 15 minutes max for the presentation, unless the board deems we need more time to cover that subject. First one is Scott Bowden, discussion of county maintenance on Meadows Boone Road.
Yes, sir. I'm here on behalf of Herb Crawford on 200 acres at the end of that boom, which we checked, never could see where it had been publicly or advertised to be closed. And we're gonna try to cut it up in approximately 8 lots. He feels it would be beneficial if it could be just basically maintained or be said as on the county system to help the lot sell better.
So first I need you to state your name and
Oh, okay,
address,
I'm sorry.
and then write it on that paper there, please.
Okay, I'm New York.
There's no
That's fine.
paper up there for
It's
the
not one?
presentation. No,
Oh, okay.
it's fine. Just as that name and address.
Just state
is
your
fine.
name and address then,
Okay.
please, sir.
All right, Scott Bowden and 27898 Lucasville, Georgia.
Okay.
There again. He just feels it's beneficial. It's been closed probably. It goes to the County line, and the creek crossing has been shut down for probably I don't know how many years. But it will maintain the road and get it up to standard if the county would just be willing to say it is still on the county system. I know it doesn't make necessarily a lot of sense, but he got it.
No.
I know it. He thinks it would be beneficial to the lot to say it is on the county road.
Well, because generally people want the county to put it on their list to maintain and keep it to standard, but you're saying you're gonna do that.
Yeah, we'll get it up. It needs a pipe on it, or gravel, some ditches put in. And I don't know whether you read the acreage on the lot tonight, so all. But they're all probably 15 acre flood.
So are y'all wanting to get it cleared up and continue maintaining it, or you want the county to maintain it if they open it? Are you gonna continue to maintenance on it, or you
If that
expect the
needs to be a
county to?
stipulation, we will, yes.
You're stipulating what will?
I say if it's stipulation on getting it on the county system, we can do that, yes. And it is likely, probably, may still be on the county system. Part of the outshow it goes halfway through that property.
So does the county keep the road up to the property,
That's right,
just not in the property?
right. Thank you.
The only issue I see legally with that is just.
I need a copy of that for the
It's very
minutes.
common for developers to bring the road up to standard. I've never seen an agreement on to maintain it in perpetuity, so I'd be a little, you may want to consider some type of bond or something that you can call on. Because, I don't doubt Crawford would do it, but whatever's a mighty long time.
What happens if we just close the road from that point on?
Would be a private road. It sounds like it may be closed, but it'd be a private road, and if it's a private road, that normally developers, when they're asking for this, they want a private road. It's the opposite. They want the road closed, and they'll maintain it, and then they gate it, and then
Yeah.
keeps people off of it. So this is a little unusual.
I agree.
Yeah.
But somewhere he's saying.
I'm not criticizing
Right
him,
now,
it's
yeah,
just-
I mean, usually it works in reverse.
That's exactly right.
But
It's
he thinks it'd be beneficial if he, I guess.
So it sounds like
advertise
he needs to
down the
go
road.
to see Cassandra and make it,
well, I don't know how a county would,
don't you have to
Put
have
the
a public
obligation
hearing and
on.
all to close the road?
well, I don't even know if it's been closed. He says it hadn't been closed, but I don't know that at all.
We have done an investigation here, right? And the road was closed years
As far as
ago.
we can tell, Mr. Chairman, the road has never been a public hearing to close that road.
It has not. It's
It has a
still
gate.
on county records up to a certain point, about halfway up that road. But it has not been maintained because it's stopped at the beginning of the property, even though the county records show it goes about halfway through the property. It's never been legally closed.
So don't we need to find out 100% and then go through the procedure of closing it first and then?
I guess we need some direction from the board on what would y'all like? Do y'all want, I mean, if the road, if y'all want it closed, it may or may not be closed, but there's nothing wrong with going through the process, just to belt and suspenders the thing. But if y'all want to open it back up, then I think y'all need to have more discussion with Crawford. That's up to you guys. I mean, so
I'd like to see the evidence that it never was closed and we've abandoned it.
We can pull those
We'll look
records,
at
Mr.
it.
Chairman.
Wait, we need to.
It was
do
mentioned of a
diligence
public
there.
hearing, but there was no public hearing that we could find where it was held to officially close the road.
And we haven't maintained it either.
Correct. There's a gate, I believe there's a gate right there at the stop, and that was mentioned in a board meeting, and they were supposed to have a public hearing, but a public hearing was never set or heard.
I think there's some law on Middle Road to be closed without a public hearing, but I don't know it off the top of my head. It's not set in statute.
So that's what I'd like to get clarified is, what year is this we're talking about when this public hearing was supposed to be set and was discussed? What is the law for it to be closed without a public hearing? And if the property owner purchased this property and then he put a gate up that kept the county out, that's a different situation than us just not going in and maintaining the road.
I think you're gonna put that gate up there.
Yeah, but that was,
Your timberland,
The gate has been up for a long time, correct?
I don't know how long it's been up there.
I would assume probably.
mentioned it was in the notes, meeting minutes of.
IT Director Brown found them in the notes,
In the minutes.
in the minutes.
Yeah, it was
That
early
was,
2000s when the previous property owner came to the board, requested that the road be closed. Our attorney at the time told him that he would have to go through a public hearing, all that, because he wanted to close the road, put a gate up because people were coming dumping trash out on his property. The county attorney at the time said, we'll have to go through a public hearing, all that, but then nothing is ever mentioned again in any of the minutes after that.
But the gate went up.
But the gate went up anyway.
I think it's certainly evidence that the road has ceased to serve a public purpose, which is what you guys would have to consider before you close the road.
So Mr. Crawford's wanting us to, he's taking the gate down and wants us to extend it further out into there. How far is he wanting to put the road through?
From to the north side of the property line, probably, he don't want to cross the creek necessarily. Because the creek takes a little bit of work, you have to fix some big pipe and all in it.
And his intent for this is to be able to sell the property.
Right,
He thinks that would expedite that process.
pretty much. Evidently, that's what he thinks.
Off a private drive.
Yeah, it'd be beneficial more to him and his thinking, it would be better on the county road than on private drive,
Okay. So can we get that information from the early 2000s meeting so
I
we
got
can make
those
the right
bullets.
We can
decision?
pull it.
But since they're the new landowners, wouldn't it make more sense that they just came in and applied to Cassandra to close the road and bring it in?
He wants it
He
open.
wants
Oh, he
that.
wants it open?
Wants the county to maintain it.
I thought he was gonna do it. They're just gonna get it all up to standard.
Because if we didn't follow the standard procedure to close it back whenever, but legally now it is closed by, how many years has gone by? We need to understand that before we make the wrong decision.
Yeah, and you could certainly, this board, it'd be within y'all's discretion to decide, look, we're not gonna reopen this road, it's gonna cost too much money, we're just gonna, if we didn't close it right the first time, we're gonna close it right this time.
Right. Or we can decide that it wasn't done right and leave it and keep it open.
That's correct, you can.
Yeah.
But the law isn't, if you didn't do it right, you gotta run, spend all your money, get it up, only to close it right back.
No.
That'd be a waste of tax.
Yeah, well, I don't know that it's, something wasn't done right or not. Probably it's like most everything, if deer hunters had the property leased.
This
the guy
happens
came
all
to
the
it
time.
And they put the gate up to keep people out. That's probably what happened.
This happens all the time. It happens all the time. People don't even come to the county and ask you to close it. They just
Yeah.
put a gate up.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Bowden? Any more comments with us?
That's about it.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
I think.
I'll do it.
You have a copy of that?
I should
get
Got it, okay.
All right, next is Mr. Larry Dunaway for Peaches in the Pines.
Yeah, good evening. I think you got the request in front of you for
I know who you
the,
are, but please state your name and
okay,
address.
I'm Larry Dunaway. I'm the volunteer for the Peaches and Pines Planning Committee, and I do the logistics.
And your address, please.
My address is 3361 Wilbur Keith Road, Greenville, Georgia, 30222.
Thank you.
You should have the request in front of you. This is the standard things we do for Peaches and the Pines.
I don't have, do you have any more copies of that, Mr. Larry?
If you can, I got one right here. I gave a bunch of copies to John last week, but this is the standard request we make is to get our public works folks to help us out doing the trash pickup, cleaning the bathrooms, getting the place ready, and just being our team out there to do it with the electrical guy out there on Friday evening when we set up, and have him out there on Saturday morning until we get everybody plugged in and hooked up and we see that everything's going good. This is our 13th year doing this, I think. And right now, as of last Wednesday, we had 55 craft vendors already signed up. We've got 14 food vendors, and that's all the food vendors we're going to take in, because 14 is about what we think our limit's going to be. The big thing we're doing this year that's going to be different is going to be free admission. And we're taking some hints from what y'all did for the fireworks show. Our numbers over the years have hovered around 1,300 people, and that just doesn't quite make our vendors satisfied. So this year, we're going to try a little different approach, and that way, if we take away some money from them to get in the gate, that's money they're not going to spend with the vendors. So I think we'll come out to the better on that. There'll be a disc golf tournament early that morning, about 8:30. I think right now, Kevin told me we got maybe 30 some odd people signed up, but we'll probably end up with somewhere between 50 and 60 by the time it gets closer and the golfers can see what the weather's going to be like. Got any questions? For the live music, we're going to have. I had the name of it. Well, I'll get who it's going to be. We're going to have two different groups doing the live music during that afternoon there.
See, we have Brian here. He mentioned Public Works. Anything you want to add or comment about to it? It's open.
It's my understanding that we've helped out with this every year that it's been in session, cleaning bathrooms, cutting grass, whatever they need to get it ready, picking up trash. I don't see why it should be a problem, but
Yeah. Only suggestion I've got, the trash bins we have out there are so large that when you try to get a trash bag large enough to fit in there, it's almost unwieldy. They're the type they're on, the standard bin. We're doing the fireworks show. I'm sure you ran into the same problem. I was just wondering if the county might want to invest in some trash cans that would be more usable for events than the standard camping out there. 10 would be sufficient for what we do. I don't know if 10 would be sufficient for your fireworks show, though.
So the radios from 911, I don't remember that being a request in the past.
Yeah, that's what we do. We just, you know, we give them out to our folks and we give them out to the public works guys that are there. So we all got communication and you know, so we can get things done quickly. And of course, the EMT will be there with their folks. And I think Danny's planning on bringing a fire truck just to be on standby, but it's a little, but then the kids can go over and look at the fire truck and see what they got there. Any more questions?
Any more questions for Mr. Dunaway? Any more for us?
No, you know, we just, you know, it's,
You said have the mowing contractor mow a weed, is that you want like the county or is the Lake Meriwether Authority gonna find somebody or number
that
six?
just need to schedule the standard mowing contractor to do it that week before.
Okay, I didn't know if you want us to get something special done.
No, it just kind of
trying to
make sure
read
his,
through all of it.
make sure his schedule coincides with what we're doing. That he, you know, that he mows the week before, or if he needs to swap his week out. He mows about twice a month, I think, usually out there. So we just need to make sure that, you know, he's,
It coincides.
yeah, it kind of coincides with what we're doing.
Brian, you raise your hand.
Yeah.
Can you come up where they can hear you on the microphone, please?
Yeah.
So typically, I'm guessing we have a couple staff guys that are there for the length of the day
Right.
to handle the cleaning of the bathrooms, removal of trash.
You know, just the cleaning service and that, because, you know, just be out on Friday afternoon while we're setting up, and then Saturday, once we get everybody up and going, we're pretty much done.
Okay.
And of course, Matt's already blocked off the camping, EMT will be out there, and the mowing, just like we talked about the mowing contractor. And, you know, we'll just do the standard cleanup
Afterwards.
after, because.
Okay. And then we'll just have looks like building maintenance guy,
Yeah.
cleaning
And
service
what we've done
guy.
before on the garbage is bring the small, dump truck out,
Okay,
and we just put it all in it, and it can just go up to the dump, you know, on Monday. Or sometimes, you know, it's hard to get everything cleaned up on Saturday, sometimes we kind of come back on Monday.
and is this a volunteer basis for the county, or are these guys that are working going to be paid?
You Public Works Director.
I mean,
I guess we'll decide.
you're definitely gonna get more.
They've been paid in the
I
past
think
to
in
work.
the past, you've had your,
That
volunteer,
day, I
they
think,
get comp
salary.
time, you know, for their time that come up with us.
Perfect, now it all looks good to us.
Yeah, and, yeah.
Thank you.
All right, any more questions or comments? Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Next item is the finance report.
Hello, Commissioners. Jamie Charlton, Finance Director. We'll go ahead and get started on the financials in front of you. You're going to see your bank balances, which were ran today, May 5th, around 4 p.m. by County Administrator John Gordon due to my 90-day probationary period. All finances are still holding very well, steady, with no current issues to report. I did just want to highlight, we have a new recreation account. Roughly a month, this account has been opened with United Bank, and as of today, we've reported over $10,000 in just that first month, so that was great to see on our books. Jumping into our LGIP funds, these will be the same as the previous meeting. Let's see. You will see the breakdowns of the month to date as well as the fiscal year to date earnings. The general fund earned about a little over $43,000 in interest for the month with a little over 4.2% yield. Let's see, great returns overall on our investments, significant gains for the LGIP funds overall for the county thus far. For our meeting starting in June, we will start reporting our 2025 T-SPLOS. The last payment for the 2020 T-SPLOS will be received and reported on this statement here. So going forward, it will be the 2025 funds. Tipping fees for the first quarter, we did notate last month we knew what the amount was, but we had not yet received it. It was not reflected in the bank balances. We do now have that. It's $155,940. They have been received and deposited. Just wanted to update you guys on that. Lastly, you're going to see our allocations for our lost, SPLOS, and T-SPLOS, which are still overall holding steady. If you turn over to your second page, you're going to see the breakdowns for the SPLOS and T-SPLOS commitments. SPLOS balance for spending remains over $768,000 as of today.
T-Splosh balance remains over $464,000 as of today. We have really fine-tuned the commitments. The only two commitments that we have currently outstanding for the SPLOST is the jail plumbing. I do believe that Max Air has started working on that. We should see completion either by the end of May towards the 1st of June. It all depends per jail staffing request. Public Works have started to order their culverts. Orders have been placed, but as far as we know, have not been received yet. Roughly 50% of their $75,000 that was allotted for this has been spent thus far. Overall, that's pretty much it for the financials. Another good month for the county. Thank you for your time.
So in the new account for recreation, where did the 10,000 come from exactly?
John and I calculated it. We felt like probably over 75% was just concessions.
About 60% of concessions, registration fees, baseball, sponsorship.
Donations.
Mainly from the January for baseball starting up. One thing I like to correct, the jail plumbing is not slated to start until the end of May, the 1st of June, due to jail restraints. With the staff, they gotta get the cooking, offsite, and we've worked with the, meal preps, and they feel the end of May, 1st of June would be the best time frame to start. So we're working out the contract with Max Air Plumbing.
Any other questions about the finance report? Okay, moving on to department heads. Do we have any department heads to speak?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to read one letter that I received from Judge Rasnick. He would like to commend the work of our HR Director, Valerie Chambers. He has worked with her on many occasions over the years, and he has been impressed with her hard work and her professionalism. He would like to thank the county administrator and the commissioners to know what a valuable employee they have.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Valerie. That's nice. That's all?
That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, do we have any citizen comments?
No, sir.
Okay, moving on to the minutes. We have the minutes from April 22nd, 2025 work session at 4 p.m. So has everyone had a chance to review them? Is there any modifications that need to be made? We have a motion to accept them?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second, all in favor? I abstain. Okay. Next, the minutes from April 22nd, 2025, regular meeting at 6 p.m. Any changes or modifications to those minutes?
I did make one spelling change, and I updated that already. It was for Waddell Road, so that has been corrected.
Commissioner Nelson catch that one too?
She did.
You on a roll?
Go, Greg.
All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes. Second. 22nd, 2025, regular meeting, 6 o'clock p.m.
Second.
Second, all in favor? All right, next is a public hearing to discuss case number P25-002, request from Roger Lumsden to close Cane Creek Road from Highway 85 to Cane Creek. Bridge has been condemned and is no longer public use. So, do we have a motion to go into public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Public hearing is 6:23.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Mr. Lumsden is here tonight. He has requested, and signage and letters have been sent out. If I'm not mistaken, the bridge itself has been condemned by the state. The DOT's condemned the bridge, and it would cost the county a lot of money to repair the bridge to even make that road accessible for the public use. And Mr. Lumsden has actually come before and with an application asking that the county close that road from 85 to the creek itself. And then kind of find out he's also purchased a property on the other side of the creek to the other road.
Woodbury Road.
Woodbury Road. I'm sorry. And it would be feasible to just go ahead and close the whole road. That road, when I took pictures, does say it's already been closed to local traffic, and there's a big gate up there already and has not been used in many years. So I've got Mr. Lumsden here. If y'all have any questions, it's up to you guys.
Do we have anyone here to speak in favor of closing the road?
Come on up, Mr.
You'd like to say something about that, or just note that you're in favor?
That's him.
I understand who it is, but does he want to speak and say that on record, or just note that you're here in favor?
Just know that,
Okay.
thank you.
Does anyone here like to speak and oppose closing the road? Okay. Any other questions or comments from the board? All right, need a motion to go out of public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? You got time?
Yep.
All right.
That's in this district.
Who district, right?
Yeah. Since it's in my district, I'd like to make a motion to close Cane Creek Road from Highway 85 through Cane Creek to Old Woodbury Highway.
I'll second it.
Commissioner, I believe the only thing that was advertised was to close.
Right.
I was about to ask that question,
Yep.
so.
I don't think we closed the whole road, only half of it was
Even though it's
advertised.
already been closed for 20 years.
Well, I mean, it may
I mean,
have
it's
already
not
been
been
closed,
officially
but as
closed.
far as following this code section, you can only close what's been advertised.
Okay.
Just restate your
So we
motion.
So we'll have to come back next meeting and close that. We have to have another public
He
hearing.
gotta apply.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
Gotta have the same thing, okay. All right, well, I'll make a motion to close Cane Creek Road from Highway 85 to Cane Creek.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Motion passed.
Right.
Next is appointments. Appointment to the Pine Mountain Regional Library Board, 3-year term which will begin on July the 1st, 2025, expire June 30th, 2028. Do we have
If
any
anybody was
recommendations?
able to find anyone, we can also table this again. I mean, the appointment doesn't start till July 1, so I'm just trying to give time
I have a
for,
few people I'd like to talk to, because I've been asking around, so if I'll make a motion that we table it to the next meeting.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
thank you.
What is the next meeting?
May 27th.
27.
Next is unfinished business. Request from residents to place November Lane in the county road system.
Commissioners, currently November Lane is classified as a private road. The residents are requesting that it be admitted into the county road system. Attached is a letter indicating that the residents were unaware of the road's private status and are now willing to sign a quick claim deed and take all necessary steps to facilitate the admission into the county road system. Should the board or commissioners approve this request, the county attorney would need to provide guidance on appropriate legal procedures to complete this transition. And I do have Mr. Dunlap here to speak on that. His family has purchased that and it's been transferred from staff's research over the years. And it looks like his family's been there for 15 to 20 years and was not aware it was a private road when they purchased the land out there.
And it's been private all this time?
Yes, sir, from staff's findings, it's been private all the way back. It's listed as a private drive or a centerline dirt drive.
Has anyone reached out to our public works director to go out and take a look at the road and see what the cost factor is and so forth?
Could you come on here, sir, again, please? Thank you.
Have you been out to that road?
I have.
Assess it, give us an idea of what it's gonna cost us if we was to,
I mean, in essence, it's a driveway to a couple houses right now. It's less than 1,000 feet long, so we just need to strip the grass off and add a few loads of rock. Drainage is fine. We're in and out in a couple of days probably if it's something y'all want to entertain. It wouldn't cost very much.
so it's got good drainage and everything?
Yes.
Okay.
It all runs down here.
I haven't been there, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a short little stretch. It goes back to a couple of houses and there's some gravel there, but you know, the grass is growing in the center and on the outside. So we just have to clip everything off and put fresh rock out.
It's 1,000 feet, roughly.
Roughly.
Who has maintained it all these years? No one?
It should have been just the citizens as private. Like I said, Mr. Dunlap and Ms. Dunlap is here if you have any questions for him.
My name is Cynthia Journey Dunlap, and my property has taken the most of the damage. And it has damaged my well water for years. I am not drinking my water. And I have sent a sample of it here. And it has damaged my septic drain lines. Cummings Construction has charged me $5,100. $5,100 to repair my system 2 years ago. And they said the drainage system coming off of November Lane caused the damage. And as you can see, John, all the money I have put in, which I have dug a drain line myself, another $3,500 to divert that water that came off of that stretch, more money. And my well system, water, I'm getting ready to redo my well system now. It's just bad. And the slope, I don't know when that little stretch some time ago, somebody came down to do the little stretch of it some time ago. I don't know who did. They tried to fix it at one time, but it made it worse. And it built a whole, river behind my house because they downed trees, and it just made it worse for my well system. So.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Mr. Brown, can you come back?
Yeah, I was a question too.
Yes.
Go ahead, I'll let you go first.
So you saying drainage is adequate, very different than what she just described.
The drainage starts at the top and it all runs down the hill to the houses. There's no corrective action for us. The water is going to go down here where we are going to intensify that runoff by stripping the grass off and adding gravel. It's only going to make it worse. I didn't know about all the problems they were having behind their house and stuff, but we're only going to intensify that if we take it over and fix it. Or we're going to have to go behind their houses and drain the water somewhere. But they are definitely downhill right now.
We don't own that, and that's not the road.
Correct.
And I would love to help her, but at the same time, that's the reason I was asked you to come back up, the drainage problem, because I don't think we as a county want to take over the road and go in and do all that and then cause her to have more intensified, and now the financial burden's falling on us to take care of her property, and we don't do it for anybody else. But I do hope there's a solution so she doesn't have to keep spending money, but right now it's a private drive. So.
It is. Like I said, we're only going to intensify the problem of the runoff going down the hill by stripping the grass and adding rock. It's just going to make it more of an impervious surface, which is going to increase the water flow.
There's not good ditches on each side?
It's flat on both sides.
So it's flat?
Yeah, it just comes over a little rise and then all downhill.
But it's that much fall, if we did take it over with that machine we got, we couldn't put a ditch on each side, or is it just not going to flow right?
You'd still be ditching it towards her house because the lay of the land is all going
And that's
down.
going to make it more when that ditch goes to flowing.
Correct.
And the family owns the property on both sides.
Correct. And we did find in the minutes in 2010, I believe Bruce O'Neill was the public works director at that time, that the board did grant a one-time right-of-way easement for the county to come on and do what they could do to try to fix it. But that was a one-time, as far as we can find in the minutes, that was the only time it was touched in 2010.
And that's when they came down there and made it worse.
Yeah, they
2010.
did. They slanted that way instead of this way to even it.
That's behind the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they put in one drain, but they didn't do that. They landed it. When they landed it on my property. They did. They made it worse.
Well, I'm not the expert in this field, but it sounds like probably what we need at the end of that road is a drain and then a retention pond somewhere to hold that water to keep it running.
Yeah.
It's got to go
We
somewhere.
don't own the property to do that.
Correct.
And I don't mind if they go on my property or whatever they need to do. I don't care. As long as they do it right, you know. I have no problem with that.
All of the residents on
We don't.
sign, we don't, whatever needs to be done, just to get it fixed. Well, that was why I said it, to get it in your head, to maybe the quick claim deed for the right of way. Quick claim deed for a section to do that as well, and that
Yeah.
might be a solution that we could look at later.
And that's what we.
But you wouldn't
But you
own
need
that
to
property.
discuss that
You would have to
progressively.
quit claim deed that,
And that's what
it'd
we
be
did.
county property if we decide to take the road.
And that's what we.
Because we can't work on private property.
And that's the thing, we didn't make it private. We didn't. We didn't make it private.
It's just always been that way.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's something to think about, go back to the other family members and see, and then come back, and then we can reassess at that point with that added to it.
Well, somebody cut a driveway in it for the family and cut lots off of it, and that became private then. You know,
I
you
can go
might not
back
have made
and
it private,
do
but it's
a-
a private drive when you develop it like
Yeah.
that.
A
Look at it.
thorough assessment of where it needs to be and where it's gonna end up, and, cause I just stopped at the end of the road, so to speak.
Yeah, they cut it right there and put those little drainage right there and not assess it like they should have. And just land it sideways
Look like
and everything went my way.
Just sheet floated off, sounds like, yeah.
Commissioners, with that recommendation, the staff will look into it for the retention pond and get an assessment from Public Works and bring it back to the board, hopefully by the next meeting with those figures. And if the residents are willing to quit claim deed, if legal says that's something we can do, then we'll bring it back to the board.
Yeah, I have a better idea what it's gonna cost to fix it and all
Yeah,
that stuff
because-
when I go back out there.
We wanna help, but we gotta do it the right way, so, then everybody will be wanting us to do it. So we gotta make sure we're smart about it, so.
Yeah, we definitely don't want it to come back and bite us later.
Sure.
We did all this work, did it, and we thought we solved it, and then you call and go, Lord, you done made it way worse now, so,
It's worse now, right where my wheel is. I just need my water.
Sounds like that's what happened in 2010.
All right, next item, do we need to table this to another meeting?
Yes,
I would
sir.
say so.
Yeah, I want to make a motion to table this request until what date is the last one in June? Give us time for that assessment. I'm sorry.
I think it's the 27th. It's not on my,
Say the last meeting in June.
Yeah, just say
I
the
make a
last
motion
one.
to table this item until the last meeting in June.
Second.
24th.
All in favor? Okay. Item 2 is recreation background checks.
Commissioners, on April 22nd, this was tabled from the prior meeting. I've spoken with the sheriff's office. They can run a background check at $10 per person. They would run it under letter code E and run it through GCIC. They can't do national, just because the way code E is set up through the GCIC audit. This is from Lieutenant Nash. They would not do a national research. Sex offender check would need to be done by HR. The Woodbury Police Department would do the exact same thing, GCIS through code E, sex offender check through human resources, but they would charge $5 per person. The issue we run into with that, if HR would have to pick these forms up because they do not need to be in the hands of anybody at Recreation Department, it needs to all be secure. We have several options. We can utilize the Meriwether County Sheriff's Department at $10 they collect will come back to the county. Or we can go with NAYS, who would do everything confidential, the background check, they would keep everything on file, and they would notify us if a coach cannot.
Will names be national?
Yes, NAYS is a national background check from everything I've read and found on it, but I can double check that if that's.
So they can do the national and the sex offender and everything?
From my understanding, reading over, but I need to look through it again through the contract and get legal to look at it. So if the board would like to go with NAYS, just put a
How much
stipulation
is
on it.
names per?
NAYS is,
It's a one-time setup fee.
this is $15 per background check and $20 per certification. Anchored would charge us about a $400 to $500 setup fee and do it for $10.95 for a background check.
So it sounds like we need to table this also again because you've got some more things you need to find out from legal.
Yeah, we need to run the NAYS contract through legal because I don't think legal has looked at NAYS. Because that was an option. We was looking at Meriwether County, but they can't do a national.
You can approve it contingent on legal review, or we can bring it back.
So is it just the sex offender that needs to be national?
No.
When I would talk to Lieutenant Ash, the code E would say if I had unless I was convicted, it's not going to
Right.
show. So if I got a pending charge,
Right.
it's not going to show on there. So you would have to do the sex offender
Right,
background check from HR, and they can't do it under, I think W is what they use for an employee. If they were paid employees, they can run it under that code, but since they're not, And IC just did an audit and said they can only use letter code E to run these background checks for volunteers. And it's only on a Georgia basis, not national.
I honestly don't see an issue with the sheriff's department doing it with the E for the $10 and using the national sex offender website.
That would be staff's recommendation. The
Yeah.
$10 would come back to
I mean,
the county.
it does work well. I use it every day in my career, and it works fine.
Then we would have HR pick up the background checks so they
Yeah.
stay confidential.
Valerie could run through that, and it's done.
At least this way with the $10 fee, it comes back to the county if it's done through the sheriff. But Woodbury is $5 and Woodbury keeps the $5.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we go through the sheriff's department, and then we have human resources check the sex offender registry.
I'll second it.
Did you do it already?
It don't. Oh, okay, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
We all good.
All in favor?
Got a third before.
Yep.
All right, he was talking first, but I couldn't understand what he
That's
said.
Long as we got
Consideration of RFP for courthouse roof.
Commissioners, EMC Engineering Service LLC has completed an assessment of the courthouse. Based on the findings, staff recommends issuing a RFP for the courthouse roof project with the intent of bringing submitted bids back to the Board of Commissioners for consideration. Once the RFP is reviewed and approved by legal counsel, staff recommends that it be formally advertised for bidding. Additionally, staff is in the process of obtaining a quote from EMC for that preparation and or management of the RFP and the project itself, whether this is a calculation as a flat fee or a percentage of the project cost. This information be brought back before the board before further approval. We just basically need to write out the scope, get the RFP out there, and have someone review it. And we'll probably advertise it for 2 months and probably have 3 on-site visits, so everybody has a fair chance to look at the roof, so we can get it right the first time.
So if we do this RFP and we get something back, where would the money come from based on?
We have money in SPLOS, and we also have money in the general fund that we took on with the sale of property recently. So we do have money in the general fund, excess funds in the general fund we can use. Plus we have the investment pool that's between general fund and special projects, about $350,000 in interest alone.
Well, we gotta get it fixed. So.
Yeah, I make a motion we approve the RFP for the courthouse roof through EMC Engineering.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Next item is consideration of RFP for courthouse third floor remediation and renovations.
Commissioners, I won't read the same thing. It's the exact same. They did an assessment on the third floor. This is just for the third floor remediation or renovations of the courtroom on the third floor of the courthouse. So the recommendation would be EMC as well. And like I said, we're working on them for calculation of the bid. And it'll be the same funding source.
That's okay.
If we determine when we open the bid that we do not have a funding source, we can reject the bid.
Okay. I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor? All right. Next is reissue countywide commercial revaluation RFP.
Commissioners, this is the third request that we're asking for this to be put out for bid. The past two we have put in there for the 2025 tax digest. This one we're requesting to be put back out for bid using the 2026 tax digest, which would give us, we already have one vendor contact us, and I think we have a second one that did not bid because they had the 2025 and they cannot meet that deadline. So we had the bid ready to go. We just need to change it to the 2026 tax digest and make
It would be
couple
too,
changes.
and what he's trying to say is it would be too late at this point to try to get numbers based off the 2025 digest.
The notices are going out this month, I believe.
Yeah, that's different than, it sounded like they wouldn't be able to complete it in 2025 is what it sounded like. Okay.
That's what one of the contractors were afraid of. They couldn't complete it all in 2025 due to the time constraint.
In the full year, the balance of the
At
7
the
months?
at the first time we put it out for bid, they can only do half of the county, because this is county-wide commercial.
Okay.
We have had vendors reach out within the last week
interested in, is the county gonna put that back out? We've put it out twice and got no bids, so.
And these that are interested, they can finish the full county in the 7 months that are left in this year.
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Discussion of LWCF.
Commissioners, this is brought back since the last meeting. Staff was directed to revise the scope of this project. We can do it in phases, but we do need direction from the board if they would wish to change the scope. Staff is recommending the following scope: grassy open space, restroom facilities, ADA compliant parking area, and ADA compliant walking trail. And we brought the ADA in there because it does reference ADA compliant playground. So if you're going to do the playground as ADA compliant, you might as well do the walking trail along with the parking area as well. And this is a $200,000 grant with a $400,000 grant with a 50% match from the county.
So 200 and 200.
Correct.
But the amount of this is not gonna be 400,000.
With these 4 areas, we'll probably be close to 400,000, probably prepping for the walking trail. Because you gotta do your soil erosion prep and everything else. So that's why we didn't want to go too heavy on it. We may be able to add the restroom, but I don't think we can do the restroom and pavilion and stay within the 400,000.
I went back and looked at this after the last meeting, just want to make a correction on my part. I was under the impression, we could change the scope dramatically, like maybe active, but the grant is for a passive park. It was never for an active park, so like ball fields and stuff, they won't let us do that.
But we can add to it later.
We can add to it later.
If we own the land.
Correct.
We can do the passive part, and then
Correct.
we have enough acreage, we can continue to grow. Yeah.
I just need, before I can get anything done, I need to know what direction
And the
we want
map-
to go, if we want to keep the grant.
Page 29 is kind of the plan the engineers drew out if we did the entire park in the original scope of work.
And did you say if we deny the grant, sometimes that makes it harder when we reapply if it shows that we turn that down, correct?
It can.
It can, but if you get the extension for a year and a half and you don't complete it, that's gonna hurt you even worse than not accepting it at this moment. And as you can see, they had the walking trail and the interior track, which I'm assuming that track would have been ADA compliant, along with a paved parking lot with a paved or concrete leading up to the circular track in the middle.
I just don't know that this is the right project for now. And I don't want to do something just to keep a $200,000 grant. My opinion is I would rather us get together as a board and recreation director and get a plan of what we want to do with the property. I'd hate to start on something that is now what we need in the future direction. It doesn't fit anymore. And once we get it there, we can't take it out.
Correct.
So,
Yeah, I'd rather take the 200,000 and apply it toward somewhere that we're already going.
and I don't think, remember the county status and the activities we got going on, I don't think this is gonna keep us from being granted another grant if we deny it. So that's my opinion.
And I would agree with you, Mr. Chairman. I don't think it would prevent us from reapplying for it later, maybe with a bigger amount to do more. Because I think this original, when it was brought back last year, was estimated like $1.2 million, $1.4 million with the playground equipment being ADA compliant.
So anyone else on the board have a comment or would like to make a motion? If not, I'll make one. I'll make a motion, we allow the grant to expire.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Next, discussion and approval of 2025-2026 insurance renewal, and allow chair or vice chair to sign all benefit related paperwork.
All right, Commissioners, bear with me, this is pretty lengthy. NFP received a quote from Anthem and negotiated a price resulting in $174,034 monthly increase, which would be almost a $2.1 million annual for 25-26 playing year. We have the wellness, they're giving us from $15,000 to $30,000 with Anthem. Staff recommends staying with Anthem for medical, dental, vision, ADA insurance. Volunteer employee benefits such as Symetra short-term disability, Symetra long-term disability, Symetra voluntary term life, supplemental health offerings, air evac coverage, and MASA emergency coverage. The numbers listed below are calculated using our current 126 participants, which include 92 employees. The projected cost for the remainder of FY25 that the county absorbs the full premium is $788,531, leaving a surplus of $326,30 in the current budget, and that's due to some vacancies in some departments. The county currently contributes $146,776 per month towards the premium. If the county were to fully absorb the cost, this would rise to $164,993, basically an increase of $18,217 a month. And then you have 4 charts. If the county did absorb the total cost, it would be an annual increase to the county of $218,600. If you charge $10 to the employees, that drops to about $203,500. A $20 increase would make it $188,357, and a $30 increase, and these are all per month, would be $173,237.
And staff recommendation is what?
Staff would recommend the $30 per month. The board absorbed most of the cost, or all of the cost last year, which was a substantial increase. At $30, it's $15 per paycheck. That would bring, a $14,436 monthly increase to the board, to the county, a month. And it's going to fluctuate between the employees on there. About every $10 you go up, you're going to drop about $1,200. And currently for an employee coverage, $149.50. If we took it $30, it'd be $179.50. And we do have a gym wellness program that gives you $50 a month off of your monthly premium if you participate.
So the employees will have a chance to offset this $30.
Correct.
Okay.
There's another $100 if the spouse participates. Just for a second.
Yes, if the spouse participates, there's an additional $50 for the spouse that they're covered. And we have 92 employees that are self-covered, 17 with spouse, 11 with children, and 6 with family.
Any questions from the board? I think at some point, the county has to stop absorbing this cost. From what was outlined to us with the condition and health, and a lot of it, lifestyle choices and habit, that's not the county's burden to continue with that increased cost. The employees have to take some ownership on their own health. No other comment? We have a recommendation from the board.
I make a motion to move forward with the staff recommendation.
That's from $30.
$30
Yep.
a month.
I second.
All in favor?
Listen, it was $1 million is all we had, 900 to $1 million 12 years ago when I started. Now we're up to 2 million. It keeps going up every single year.
Yeah. Okay, on the new business. Oh,
And we would need
sorry.
the chairman and vice chair to sign all related.
Right.
I don't think I have any paperwork
I'm
tonight,
in that
but I
motion to
will.
allow the chair or vice chair to sign.
Still second.
Okay.
It all.
I'm in favor, yes. All right, on the new business, Item 1 is set a public hearing for case number P25-003. Request from Jacob Clare for the special use of parcel 172-073-001, 507 Dan Road, Woodbury, for the proposed use of a 5-space RV campsite.
This more or less is not really to set a public hearing because you guys had voted last year to allow me to have public hearings the Tuesday after my Monday meetings. This is for you guys to be aware that on the 25th, you will be having this case come before you.
On the 27th.
I'm shooting 27th.
This case will come before the board.
It's letting you guys know that this case is going to be coming before you guys on the 27th. It goes before my PC on the 19th and before you guys on the 27th.
All right. Is that gonna be the same thing for the next 2 items?
Yes, sir.
Correct.
But it's still a public hearing when it comes
Right.
before us.
Yes, it will be a
So
public
we are
hearing.
setting a public hearing for us, not for you. So it is still a public hearing that comes before this board.
Yes, this is
Yes.
so that you guys know that it will be a public hearing on the 27th for you guys.
So we need to determine when.
But
we're
you
doing
guys
it.
haven't
Or where
voted,
we choose
you
to
guys
set
had voted last year to allow me to have advertised and set your meetings for.
Yeah, we know
after my
that, but it
PC.
is to set a
Yes.
public hearing.
It would need to be set for the 27th for advertising purposes. We just want to make it out in the public known.
And if this was approved, would they be obligated to follow the same guidelines like we do at Lake Meriwether? As far as, spy camper.
I would not go discussing a rezoning before the public hearing, because they'll come in here and say you were discussing it.
Okay, I thought they were going to bring it for us, we'd vote that night.
They will, but what I'm saying is technically you're only supposed to make your decision based upon the information presented in a public hearing. If they show up with a slick lawyer, they'll be like, what did Commissioner Kim?
Okay, well,
Okay.
I'll say it to that now.
So I guess we'll get a map of this, where it's located at the public
You
hearing.
will.
Okay. Anybody got a motion for the
So
public
moved.
hearing?
So moved.
For the May 27th. It's May already. Okay. Motion and second, all in favor? Okay. Item 2.
Same thing.
Same thing, public hearing for case P2504.
Read it out, Cassandra. That's what you're up there for.
He told her to read it off.
That's what you're
Okay.
standing up there for.
Set public hearing for case P25004, change of official zoning ordinance, Article 10, manufactured homes, Section 10.2C-1. The statute prohibits counties from regulating the age of a manufactured home.
Make a motion.
Second.
What date?
May 27th.
Okay. All in favor? Item 3.
Set public hearing for case P25005, change of official zoning ordinance, Article 7, district lot and height standards for easements.
Same date?
Yeah.
Wow.
So move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Thank you.
Be a busy night.
Yeah.
Item 4, update on joint meeting with municipalities for 2026 SPOS.
Commissioners, we will need to set a joint meeting with the municipalities in June to discuss placing a continuation of the SPOS tax on the November ballot, similar to what we did with T-SPOS last year. Staff is currently compiling project lists for each municipality to support this effort. The proposed dates for the joint meeting are during the week of June 9th or the week of June 23rd. Once the date is selected, it will be important to communicate this to the municipalities. This timeline will provide staff with sufficient time to prepare the necessary documentation and allow municipalities adequate time to hold their respective meetings for approval and signature if required.
By what date did you say?
We would like to have everything by the county by July 1st, so it gives staff a month to get everything worked out with elections on the verbiage of the ballot.
That's plenty of time.
Do we want to set this in June, or do we want to wait?
The earlier the better, because it does become a little bit cumbersome sometimes with the cities, and especially with a lot of them having new council members on there. It's going to be a lot of understanding at that point. So the sooner we can have it, the better it will be.
The week of June 9th, I think most of the cities have their meetings near the end of June. This way, if they're not here with a quorum, that'll give them time at their meeting to hold it and be able to vote on signing the resolution in IGA.
I won't be here June the 9th.
You will not be here in June 9th. What is that on?
I won't be here June the 9th, but that's okay. I mean,
Yeah, we can do with
I
that.
don't-
That's a Monday. You be here the rest of the week?
I'll be here the rest of the week.
I make a motion for June the 9th, but later in the evening, or 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock is a better time for me, so I do put that in the form of a motion.
Second.
All in favor? Okay.
And we'll reach
Confirm,
out to the cities, and if the date needs to change, we'll bring it back to the board at the next meeting.
confirm using the 2024 tax digest millage rate for House Bill 92.
Skipping number 5.
Skipping
Number 5.
number 5.
Number 5, discussion of 2026 SPOS projects.
Commissioner, staff recommends the following projects be included on the ballot for the county's 2026 SPOS, which would serve as a continuation: building renovations, public safety vehicles and equipment, sheriff's office vehicles and equipment, public works vehicles and equipment, recreation improvements, information technology upgrades, and roads and transportation infrastructure. Almost identical to the list from last year, and that's right behind it. I think we moved records management and the water system expansion.
So you just blew about 10 different splosts tonight.
Yeah.
And some much needed vehicles and equipment for the county.
So,
Yeah, hopefully this will be a 6-year SPOS, roughly around maybe 14 million.
Special project on top. Right.
Well, if we can do
Tier
the
one.
courthouse in phases, we may be able to do it with the county instead of doing a tier 1 project. But that's up to the board if you want to put a tier 1 project on the SPOS.
but when do we have to decide that by?
We can do it when we have a joint meeting. Because last year with T-SPOS, we had other municipalities that wanted buses, sidewalks. As long as we have enough time to amend it and hold a meeting, we will have one at the end of June where we can actually.
Yep, because here's what we're looking at. We just approved the RFPs for the roof and as well as the third floor. So we need to get that back to decide where we're at financially on
Yes.
that. That will help us decide if we need to do a tier 1 on top of that splost. So I think we need to wait for that before we decide.
And this list can be tabled, it's just what staff recommends.
Right. Now, this is a discussion, so we don't have to do anything with it, right, Nathan? Nathan?
No, y'all don't have to decide until the deadline.
Right. Okay.
So is there any discussion, any changes or removals to the list staff recommending? Do we want to table this until the next meeting? Do we want to make a decision tonight?
Well, I don't think we can make a decision until we get these amounts back from the RFP as to what we need to put on there and determine if we need a tier 1. So since it's a discussion, I just
There's no
say we just
action
let it
taken.
go. No action
Yeah,
needed.
No action on discussion.
So no more discussion?
That's my thoughts on it.
No, you're right. I just want to make sure, did anybody have a motion or any discussions? All right, moving on to item 6, confirm using the 2024 tax digest millage rate for House Bill 92, notice of assessments.
Commissioners, in accordance with House Bill 92, local governments are required to either certify an estimated rollback millage rate to be included on the notice of assessments, NOAs, or to utilize the prior year's millage rate to estimate the taxes owed. Staff recommends using the prior year's millage rate to calculate the estimated tax amounts. And the PowerPoint slide is behind this on page, it tells us with local governments. Page 48 and 49 gives you option 1 and option 2 that local governments are required under House Bill 92.
Page 49 is based on staff recommendation.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Stevens. And from my understanding, if we don't get something, then there's a statement put on notice of assessment saying we did not do option 1 or option 2, and it's as part of, this is all tied back to House Bill 581. They're trying to find a loophole where municipalities, local governments do not follow along with these ordinances, or these new House bills that come out. What they're gonna do is they're gonna search for NOAs, and we just need to certify or ratify through the commissioners that we do option 2, which was certified and estimated rollback rate from using last year's millage rate.
You know, but this says to provide an estimate of taxes of, if we do that, then are we locking ourselves into that millage rate?
Option 2 is if the government fails to certify and provide an estimated rollback rate by the deadline, the NOA will be used, the previous year's millage rate that was prepared, similar to how NOAs were prepared prior to House Bill 581. So we're staying in compliance with what we've done in previous years by doing option 2. It was just never brought to the board for certification or for a vote to use the prior year's millage rate.
I don't think you have it. I mean, the information for the current estimate.
We don't.
You don't.
Couldn't do it if you wanted
No,
to.
it's just that would look, to, in staff's opinion, doing number 1, trying to estimate a rollback, and then it comes in lower or higher. That's why number 2 is a safer option. We just continue doing it as if we were doing it prior to House Bill 581.
Okay, any questions from the board or motion?
I make a motion to follow staff's recommendations by using the prior year's millage rate option 2. To calculate the estimated tax amounts.
Have a motion, have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Any commissioners?
Okay, consideration of in-house hot asphalt patching.
Commissioners, Public Works Director Brian Griffin is here to talk about this one after, and I'll let him speak on it. It was, funding source would be from T-Splosh. He has one quote from Reynolds Warren that's included for $45,399.48. He did receive other quotes. This is a state source contract. The other quotes came in at $50,000 and then $70,000 and almost $74,000, I believe. Brian can speak on the hot asphalt patching.
Good evening again. So this is as entry level asphalt repair as we can get. You know, it's hot mix asphalt. This is the vessel you use to go get it from the plant and be able to keep that asphalt hot for several days until you use its 4-ton hopper. We'll be able to patch our own pipe crossings, like on LL Rebel, for instance. We can go do those ourselves for $400 in asphalt and labor, and we're getting ready to pay PPI about $8,000 a piece to do them. So that's $16,000 for the 2 that are there that we can do for $800 in house. That's just one example. The spray and patcher, y'all already know. We're coming back, just run around in circles over it. And we have tried it hot, we have tried it cold, we have soaked it, we've run it dry, we've layered it in. I've done this a long time. It's beyond me. It just doesn't break, it doesn't cure fast enough to set up. Time you leave, car goes through it, it just blows right out of the hole. Mix in any rain or anything else, it just gets worse. But this gets us in the pothole patching hot mix business, so that hopefully we don't have to keep going back over and over and over and over again. So any questions about it?
So with the spray patcher, there's nothing that can be added to this chemical wise to harden it at a quicker rate?
We are in the process of trying to get a refund of our BAM that we just got. And I would like to try it with CRS2, which is a rapid set catonic bituitous material. Unfortunately, the only places that sell it is in North Fulton and Perry. So shipping, we have to go up there and get it, but from experience, it sets way faster in a matter of minutes.
So what would be the cost versus using what we have now and using that particular
CRS2 runs about $3.25 a gallon. What we're using now runs about $13 a gallon, and it doesn't work.
But as far as what you're recommending for the.
Oh, the patching.
Hopper, what we have now if we used a different product? versus
You
that?
still couldn't do pipe crossings with it, and it would be still temporary because you're not prepping the hole properly to keep it from running further. You're just spraying it in the hole and going. And we know all our roads, every patch you do, there's gonna be another one that comes up right behind it, and another one right behind it, and another one right behind it. The thought is if you square them off, then maybe they hold with that square edge better than a rounded edge or oblong shape. It gives you a better success rate.
And this machine does a square?
No, you have to literally cut it out yourself with a saw, prep the hole, put the hot mix in, and it has an emulsion tank on it. You spray your emulsion in. It's all mobile. It's all one unit that goes by and does it. It's not as fast as the sprayer, obviously, but the end result is you don't have to keep going back every third day.
I actually watched a documentary on the square cut, and they were doing them in New York, and they said that it was holding up much, much better.
Something about them 90-degree edges that just makes it hold.
Yeah, but you could basically square cut it and use the existing patch that we have, correct?
Yeah, if you want to go back in 3 days and do it again, absolutely.
If you what?
If you want to go back in 3 days and do it again, absolutely.
Well, I mean, I've seen some they did that seemed like it's
Sure.
done in there.
Sure, and there's no rhyme or reason, sir. There's no rhyme or reason. We have tried it every way, and I've talked to other counties that do use spray patchers, and they use CRS2 in their machines as well. They don't use the stuff that we're using.
They don't use BAM.
No, they use CRS2.
And it has to be heated, correct?
It does, and that patcher is equipped with heat and electrical heat, so you can plug it in overnight. And it also has the hydraulic fluid blanket, so we've tried the BAM at 200 degrees, and it's no better. Doesn't make it worse, doesn't make it better. We've tried it cold, like I said, we've tried it soaked in the rock, soaked, dry rock, wet rock. We have gone through the paces on this stuff, and very
I mean, we
limited.
just voted, last meeting to purchase 3 more totes or 4 totes of BAM?
4 totes.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah,
3 remaining
why didn't we
totes.
buy the other stuff in?
I had been here about a week at that point,
Yeah.
and we decided then it's all we got. Let's keep rolling with it.
So if we go-
now I've been here 6 weeks, and
So if we go with the hot asphalt patching machine, if you get that, then you won't use the patcher anymore, correct?
it would be on a very limited basis.
Yeah. Well, have you talked to them about if maybe trading it in or?
I haven't, but I would love to. We're trying to get our money back on the
I
BAM
mean, if
now.
you're gonna if you want this thing here, the hot patching, and it seems like to me, if you get it, and you know you're not gonna use the other thing,
Sure.
be
And
trying
I'm-
to get something out of it.
I personally would rather trade in old equipment than auction it off because you typically get a better price, to be completely honest with you. Most, for some reason, unbeknownst to me, because the money comes back to the budget, they want to sell them outright, but you're going to get more as a trade than you are at auction 7 out of 10 times.
Well, it's a patcher running now.
Absolutely.
It ran today or
No, sir.
too wet?
It's going to be running tomorrow. So
How much BAM you got left?
there's 3 brand new totes and a quarter tank in the one we're running now. We're trying to reach out to Reynolds Warren, the supplier, and see if there's any way we could either return that product, even if we have to take it back to Forest Park ourselves, or if this passes, maybe take that 12 grand and use it towards
Yeah.
to offset the cost. And then if you want me to check on the price for trading value, absolutely. So now all of a sudden this 50,000 could be 30, 25. It's all y'all's option.
Where's this coming out of, this piece of equipment?
The low bid is gonna be like Forest Park,
City,
Reynolds
Georgia.
Warren.
Oh, Lake City, Georgia?
Yes, sir.
So you made the case for the current equipment by saying other counties use it with the CRS2,
One county.
and then you can cut the square, but
Correct.
that makes it better than what you're doing today.
Correct.
But you still couldn't patch across the road.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you couldn't do like pipe crossings,
So we can improve what we're doing today, but we
Yes.
still won't be able to do other things that we're paying a lot of money for.
Correct.
So if we had 3 pipe crossings, because what you just mentioned saves us about $15,000 for that.
just for
one.
the two on LL Rebel.
Yeah, if we did that 3 times in a year, then that pays for this equipment right there, it's $45,000.
And you could do it with this hot patching, the thing you talking about buying for 45,000.
Yes, sir.
You can patch a what, 3 or 4 foot wide strip or 6 foot wide strip?
6 foot wide, 20 foot long. A pipe crossing, basically.
Would that thing have enough asphalt in it?
It'd have 4 tons, depending on how deep you want it.
And this is the equipment you're more familiar with using, is doing the hot patching from previous.
Sure.
And when this thing runs out of asphalt, how do you fill it back up? You have to go back to the asphalt
Asphalt
plant?
plant, yep.
So we're gonna spend $2,500 for 45-mile freight. We can't go pick it up in Lake City.
No, we absolutely can. Yeah, I said the same thing.
That's why I asked where it was, $2,500 just to get it
But
45 miles.
This machine here now, that they make a machine that you could take, it'll actually heat the asphalt back up, correct?
Yes. You can buy an infrared heater that cooks it up to about 3,000 degrees, makes it more pliable, brings it pliable, add a rejuvenation agent, loop it back out and compact it. Sure, those infrared machines run about 70 grand for a small one.
Well, one of those machines, I think, would, take millings and make it back into asphalt, wouldn't it?
Well, that's the infrared heater. You have to superheat the asphalt, whether it be by propane means or not, but they're big tray heaters that go behind trucks. They stay about this high off the ground. You light them up, sit in one spot, get it super hot, then you mill it up or turn it into millings, rake it out, add a rejuvenator of some kind, an emulsion of some kind, loop it back out, pack it back in. It's called hot in place recycling. It's super expensive, works good, but you gotta have a whole train. You gotta have something to mill the material after you heat it, and then you have to have a rejuvenator tank to spray the rejuvenator in, somebody to roll it, somebody to loop it. So you actually have like 7 pieces of equipment out there. It's effective, but it's not as cheap. And if everybody is good with rocking on like we are, we can rock on like we are.
I make a motion we approve in-house hot asphalt patching with the stipulation of trading in the current equipment.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Next item is consideration of purchase of storage shed concession stand for recreation department.
Commissioners, the Recreation Department has allotted $100,000 from the 2020 SPOS. To date, according to county records, the department has received $38,168. The Recreation Department is currently in need of a storage shed to house equipment, including a lawnmower, side-by-side gator, baseball, softball gear, and concession stand supplies. Several suitable shed options have been identified at Strickland Outdoors in Lucasville, Georgia. The estimated cost for a shed that meets these needs is approximately $11,000. Staff recommends utilizing SPOS funds to purchase the shed contingent upon approval from the Board of Education to place the shed on a leased property at George E. Washington Elementary School baseball fields located at the rear of the school.
Is it just one shed or a couple sheds?
Just one shed, it'd be a 12 by 32.
12 or 32?
Yes, sir.
You're gonna make a concession stand and store and put a gator in it?
Off half of it. It's a roll-up door. We can split out half for equipment and gator and the lawnmower.
Are we sure that'll pass the health department standards, having a fuel
That's what I'm saying is,
container next door to a concession stand?
Are you gonna be selling concessions out of it?
Yes.
no, they're not gonna let it do storage and concession in the same building. And I don't think I used to sell them, I had a dealership, but
That ain't
12 or 32 is not very big. That's the outside. By the time they frame the walls, you lose it, you get your roll-up door, but that's not very big to do storage, a gator, and then store your stuff for concession stand, that's not very big at all. We'd probably be better off put some numbers together for two, one for storage and then a smaller one for concession stand.
And here's the thing, can we not put a concession stand on wheels that we could take from place to place?
Well, that's what these would be. These would be where you could pick them up with forks or pull them back up, because we don't want them permanent. We want to be able to move them since we don't know where we're going to
Right,
be.
but I thought if we had the
pull behind
lawn
trailer.
equipment over here, we couldn't just.
Oh, you
pull
like
something.
one like a food trailer type thing?
Yeah, something like that.
That's something that we looked at too, was
That's
for
what I
a
said.
food trailer.
It needs to be mobile so we can go anywhere in the
Yes.
county, there's any recreation, anything.
And then the storage shed, if we had to, we can use a rollback and drag it up and take it to a new location.
I mean, I'm all for buying this building for what they need for storage, because they're gonna fill that up very fast, which is what they already have.
Yeah, that's not,
But it's not gonna do concessions as well.
They have a smaller, probably 12 by 10 barn building that's under my threshold to approve. I can approve that for a concession stand. They just need Board of Education has allowed them to use what they have out there for storage, but I don't think it's equipped or big enough to hold the side by side or the lawnmower.
where are you getting prices from?
It's Luthersville, Georgia, Strickland Outdoors.
Where?
Strickland Outdoors in Luthersville.
In Luthersville?
Yes, sir.
Can we just
Did-
look for, I agree, we need something, two of them, but I'd also like to look for something that's definitely mobile, maybe a little more stainless steel, easy to keep clean, pass the health inspection.
Yeah,
You know, it's
the
okay.
recreation director brought one to me, and I think he found one at that time for roughly around $10,000, slightly used for pull behind. It just had to be brought back to the board, but I think that's like a Facebook marketplace.
On the storage shed, did you price more than one place or just there?
Just Strickland Outdoors, because they're located here in Luthersville, Georgia, in Meriwether County.
Well, I understand they're located, but we want to make sure we're getting a fair.
Yeah, he was giving us, since the county has bought, even the sheriff has bought two, he was giving me a 25% discount. And these were previous year models. But they do need somewhere to, like I said, park the gator and the side by side and the lawnmower, and for it to be secure somewhere.
So we can approve modification to purchase this building just for storage. We can leave
Correct.
off.
It's just, it'll be over my $5,000 threshold. I can't approve something. I mean, it can be custom built enough to fit just the storage of the side by side and the lawnmower.
I think you need to come back with, like the other commissioners talking about, something mobile, something that we can do food, make sure we're certified in and safe. But I agree with the other commissioners, we also need the storage, so we need two. So does the board want to approve this one for storage and continue looking for a mobile food?
Or we can table to the next one. Baseball, softball season will be over in roughly 2 weeks, and they'll be starting All-Stars. So staff just recommends tabling to the May 27th meeting.
In the meantime, is this equipment sitting out in the weather?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the gym.
In the gym, so it's not out in
No,
exposed?
sir.
I'll make a motion to table to the next meeting.
Second.
All in favor? Okay. Okay. Next item is discussion of facilities for recreation and football.
Commissioners, myself, Mayor Stardrow, with Greenville, Councilmember Moore, and Recreation Director Alan Forum all met at the City of Greenville field behind the Board of Education. We discussed this before in a work session. We have three options: Greenville High School, Flint River Academy, and the City of Greenville field. Greenville High School, we would need an agreement between the Board of Education and the county. They're requesting a schedule in advance of the season, and Recreation is unable to provide that at this time. They can maybe use it for playoffs. Flint River Academy, we just need to look at last year's agreement and see if it can be renewed. And the City of Greenville field, they own it and they're willing to make an investment and make it suitable for use. However, significant improvements are needed to prepare the field in time for the start of the season in August of 2025. Staff recommends utilizing Flint River Academy facility for the 2025 season and reevaluating the use of City of Greenville's field next year. The primary concern is the risk of the city field not being ready in time, which would leave the program without a usable facility. However, the City of Greenville is able to bring the field to a playable condition and provide adequate parking. Staff will recommend moving forward with that option, using Flint River Academy as a backup. So Greenville is willing to make an investment into the city field that they own. I just don't know if they'll be able to have it ready by the start of football season. And we don't want to be like last year where we down to the last hour. They got football games on Saturday, getting an agreement with a school to.
So really, it would be better if we use Flint River and then use Greenville as our backup in case there were any issues.
For this current year, yeah.
For this current year, and possibly use Greenville since they are willing to let us use that field with the new turf they put down. If we can work out a contract with the Board of Education, maybe the whole playoffs back to the high school.
Okay.
But for the regular season,
We have a motion from the board.
I make a motion that we use Flint River Academy's facility for the 2025 season, and then can use the one in Greenville as a backup if it's prepared in time, and then talk with Greenville High School closer to time about possibly playoffs or something there.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Next item. Request to allow EMC Engineering Services Incorporated to issue RFP oversee the 2025 Meeting project.
Commissioners, EMC Engineering Services, Inc. was contracted to conduct assessment for the 2025 LMIG project list and has expressed a willingness to oversee the implementation of the project for a fee based on the overall project cost. Staff is currently working to obtain the proposed fee and confirm EMC's availability and capacity to manage the project. If EMC provides to be cost-effective and beneficial to the county, staff will recommend authorizing EMC to oversee the project. Typically, what we see with contractor or engineering firms, they get a percentage of the product or project and oversee the whole thing. They write the RFP, bring the bids back, and they select everything and oversee it.
So what percentage are we talking about?
I have not, Chris has not responded back.
Based on history?
Based on history, you can look for anywhere from 4 to 10 to 12%. It all depends on the quality, the overall assessment value. Usually your higher projects, when you're looking at 4 or 5 million, they want 10 to 12%. Lower costs, with this being a little over $1 million, maybe $1.5 million project, I would estimate between 4 and 6%. Just off my experience in government.
Now, what has it cost us in the past?
We done all the RFPs in-house. Barron and Bill wrote them and managed them. And we do have a template, but I'm sure.
When do we have to know, when's the deadline to know something on this?
I'm still waiting on Chris to respond back and what their percentage will be. We haven't even put out RFP for the LMIG project yet. We're waiting on EMC to give us their assessment of the Stovall and Melvin Harris Road.
So there was some discussion at one of the meetings or work sessions, one of the reasons we were going with an engineering firm was we have been told by different people across the state that our prices that we are given are ridiculous and high. And that we had talked about having an engineering firm like EMC that does some local counties, do the RFP, go out and see if we get different vendors, get a better rate than what we've been getting. That was what part of some of the conversation was.
And also right here, John says if EMC proves to be cost effective and beneficial to the county, staff would recommend authorizing EMC to oversee the project. So you're gonna, once they give you, if we vote on this, you're gonna look to see if it's gonna be beneficial, correct?
Yes, sir. Or we can table it until they come back. Hopefully they come back with a percentage
Well,
or
I make a
cost for
motion
next
to go
week.
ahead, to allow EMC to engineering service to issue RFP and oversee 2025 LMIG project.
We have a motion, we have a second.
Second.
All in favor?
I'm opposed.
Motion passed.
I would have liked to have waited to see what it would be before we did that.
Next item is a report from county administrator.
Commissioners, we will be reestablishing the Recreation Board. We will put that on the next agenda for consideration for your appointees. It's a 5-member board, so we'll ask for 1 member from each district to be appointed to the Recreation Advisory Board. That way to give our Recreation Department some guidance going into the summer of what we need to be more focusing on during fall time for sports. I've been meeting with cities. I met with everyone but Lone Oak on their SPOS projects. Just trying to get them all to get their projects passed by their council and sent over to County Clerk Ms. Stevens so she can do the resolution and the IGAs and have everything ready to go for the meeting. Been looking at a couple of roads that citizens has called in about trees over the road. Working with animal shelter on a few complaints that we have addressed in the county and in Manchester. And we've attended a hazmat litigation meeting, and we have one tomorrow that will wrap up our hazmat, so we'll be in compliance with our hazmat. Mitigation, what is it, litigation? Mitigation. That one seems to go pretty good, they're just looking at the projects. And everything's going pretty well. I'm still waiting on the fire leads from City of Lone Oak. I think Ms. Nelson stopped by and they said the clerk has, the mayor has a copy that she's supposed to be getting down here to the county. So it's not an executed document until the chairman can sign it.
She has it at her home.
Yeah, that's all I have.
Let me ask you something on the reestablishment of the rate board. Our last ordinance, I believe, was for a 9-member board. We probably need to go in and change that.
It's already been
We did,
updated.
okay.
Yes, we did to 5-member.
Okay,
See, we did that.
We did.
I probably would.
Yeah.
That's why we're asking for 1 member from each district.
Okay, that's all? Any
Yes, sir.
questions for the administrator? Report from county commissioners, Commissioner Threadgill,
I don't have anything.
Commissioner Collins.
I just like to thank staff and all employees for the job they do. That's all I have.
Commissioner Nelson.
I just want to thank the citizens I've talked to. Some are reaching out positively and some with concerns, and we're doing our best to address those as they come, and we thank you for all your input.
Commissioner King.
Same as always, appreciate what everybody's doing, and they had the cotton fair this weekend. I think the rain messed them up a little bit. Just was kind of hurt the vendors there, but they made it up on Sunday. It was a beautiful, cool day and big crowd, and Larry Dunaway was over there working the gate. And, he'll let you know that it was a good turnout. A lot of folks come down here and see the county and draw interest, and maybe they'll move on down here and give us some more tax dollars. But other than that, that's nice.
All right, same for me, just thank everyone for what they're doing and as well the citizens that are calling and reaching out. We see and we get a little more involvement, which is good. Even though it's frustrating sometimes, it's good. That's good that they're engaged and involved, so thank everyone. Report from county attorney.
Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything before.
Do we have a need for executive session?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
For,
Cover all for litigation, personnel, real estate, and tax.
okay, before we do that, the future meetings and notices will be closed Monday, May 26, 2025, in observance of Memorial Day. Next regular meeting is Tuesday, May 27th, 2025 at 6 p.m. And then on Monday, June the 9th, 2025, regular meeting, 6 p.m. And on Thursday, June 19th, 2025, will be closed in observance of Juneteenth. I have a motion to go into executive session for litigation, personnel, real estate, and tax.
Second.
All in favor? 7:33. All in favor? Regular session 7:55. No action was taken in executive session. Any other business come before the board tonight?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Any motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? We adjourn.
Y'all have a good night.
7:56.